This is day 1028 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored by my good friend and Chabusa, Reb Daniel Kislin. Mali Hashem Mishul Sebeinu L'Tova. Today we are doing Yeridea Simen Pei Dalid. Again, Samach Beis to Samach Tes. Okay, Samach Beis. This is the Chachma son speaking. Arukh HaShulchan Dinos. The vegetables in all the countries muzakim b'toloim. They are assumed to have bugs. Petruska, I think that's parsley. Bekimel, caraway. But Asif Shkrein hoift, a cup crate, some sort of salad. Shalkom neirokos muzakim b'toloim. Assume they have worms. Also, I can believe they can not allowed to eat them without checking. Chemine salatin. Okay, I guess salad is lettuce, kroid is cabbage. Chemet yukim, green onions. Shochan azan, chaim, which you eat raw. Tzarech libdok, hey Dave, you have to check them very well. Chen kidneos yirukos, show them b'sharbitim. Also green beans, chickpeas, which are shown b'sharbitim when they're still in the husk. According arbes to bobbin, chickpeas. As long as in the pods, and you have lots of worms. You have to open each every pod. Check each bean by itself. The women say that they crisp the vegetables with fire, so presumably would make the worms go away. And it doesn't work. We have krapa. I think it's a caper. Grecus, which put in cucumbers. You don't have any stalk. No, it's not what crop, it must be something else. Do you have any michos or grecus? So do you have you put it in your cucumbers? I assume it's a pickling spice. So it's time I wrote that you have to strain the sauce, grecus, and wash the cucumbers. If you want to put it there because of the smell, scrape up all the leaves, and leave the stems. They also have a fragrance. Says we checked in the pods, and they also in the stalks, and they also have worms. Therefore, my house we do is you put in a very hot oven, such when you're breaking bread, only the stalks, and then put them into the cucumbers. What is grappa? I don't know. I can't find it. I'm not sure what grappa is. Okay, whatever it is, you put in pickles. And he says that. The cucumbers don't have any bugs. Aviyar kroit, but the cabbage, which you people soak, they pickle it. There are many worms most years. You have to check each leaf by itself, 2 or 3 times. Then you cut it, you put it away for the winter. Then you see shows some only bedukim. This we tried, and we saw that those check leaves, you don't cut them on the same day, to put them in the pickling in brine, in the best kanog. You leave the leaves out till tomorrow. Other bugs. And they squiggle parshim, and they go separate all from leaf to leaf. Also a place where they are. You have to check it over again. And that was how I custom. That was a custom I adopted in my house. Sama Gimel. Kasav. Evidently, the Chachma Sadim was the authority in worms. Dashim lentil. Shemal Jishim Shtei Minim. There are 2 types. Yesh bin Shemuchs Up Loim. It's a type where you assume that they're going to be worms. She started talking to me at the they have like red worms inside them. Yesh min shlum and so them klum. There's a type which has nothing in them at all. Akal shoro. Manisha mati I heard shadashim aktanim, small lentils. Shemuzzakim betoloim. They are assumed to have worms. Like animals, like big ones are not assumed to have worms. Basically, misrakim yachil sadashim, and we distance ourselves from eating lentils. Boy, their vegetables must have been way, way different than ours because I don't think any of these vegetables nowadays we find bugs in. Kamei pichios, mushroom truffles, shvemlech, they certainly have, they're certainly assured to have worms, that they very well tracked. Some people do not remove the worms, or rather they cook them in like a cheesecloth. They leave in time, but in order to give a taste in the cooked dish. But someone after cooking, they toss them away. Pits which are apples, ernest, I don't know, some other type of fruit. They assume that they have worms. Don't eat the bits. Klipas pomerantzen, orange peels, yeshu dog, maybe milbin. They don't have these little black spots. It's very prevalent. Okay, I don't know how the oranges taste like that, but some God will put it and said you should put it in the oven until all those milbin, whatever those creatures are burnt off. But orez, the dochan, rice and millet, shchicha milbin, they also have these little bugs. Orez, especially in rice, and kites in the summer. Becomes a distance. There are the two types of rice: pshutim v'tovim, simple ones and superior ones. One of them there isn't so many bugs. The other it's prevalent. These barley dovers I haven't clarified this too well. Therefore, I can't specify clarity. Generally speaking, it's appropriate to distance someone eating orez shenikorin rice, but kites in the summer. That's my custom. Kites come in a grouping, all sorts of cereals. They have these creatures. Basically, a grouping I think is like buckwheat. I don't know. So anyway, some sort of cereal. Also, the grouping that they remove from underneath the mill, even though everything is pulverized, there are many little bugs. Shouldn't eat the stuff in the summer. Let's put it in a hot oven. Grouping. There's itself from this grouping when it's hot. If there's compelling need, when a very hot oven. And maybe then they won't have bugs. Wow. Any flour, which is in stores, besides the summer, certainly have worms. There's no Eitzah. No, you do. Can't put them in a hot oven. But we need bread. Bread is the staff of life. So you have to check them for these little creatures. I heard when the sack is full of flour and it's under pressure, then you won't find these little bugs. We heard in a previous generation they were mashgichim from the community. We go in the summer, leave to check the flour in the stores. If you have to make sure you have no bilman, they're praiseworthy for this. Your pantry, wherever you store your food, the place should be clean and dry. It's a moist place, there are lots of milbin. And on one ant, Amru Chazal, Shava Chamish Lami, violate 5 prohibitions. Anybody who strains himself to distance himself from the prohibition, the silent in the Shemayim, they assist him from heaven. Tabol tire, somebody comes to make himself tar, the sign so they assist him. Samech hey, combine pears to darken any type of fruit which normally gets wormy. Shem chorim, it's connected to the ground. Also, chomam achi doka peri betocho. Now teach them until you check the fruit inside. Shemesh botoas, maybe it has a worm. They know more. It doesn't work to check some of them. Feel barak ruban. Even check most of them. Lo mani lo no term doesn't work for whatever's left. Now, we know by heads of lettuce and stuff like that, that's not what they do. They check 3 random heads. But here, you have to check every fruit to have a meal because it's very prevalent. Even though it's a minority, it's very present. But if they don't normally come wormy, sometimes you find some wormy ones. Putting mitzvah, you only have to check a sample. You don't find among them a worm. We assume they're all kosher. All these Bibles that see fine basis will be clarified later on. Chazal said, any creature does not have a bone, any doesn't survive for more than 12 months. A creature which doesn't have sinews, nerves, and bones, doesn't live more than 6 months. Its life course is 6 months, and then it dies. But that doesn't help. Because it's still whole, intact. Till 12 months. After a month, then becomes like dirt, like dirt and dust. So you can't ask from leeches which live longer. In a leech, there is bone and there is nerves. Rach, they're soft, vidak, and thin. Savi, they're around the mouth. Shalmi then says this. Once again, I heard that the pharmacists checked this and they found that is true about the leeches. Even those fruits which only get wormy when they're connected to the ground, if you leave them for 12 months, you can eat them because anything even a worm already, already became like dirt of the earth. Like stamp dirt. That's in terms of checking inside the fruit. It might have been a worm which went in there when it was connected to the ground. Whenever you have to check it, you don't get scot free. Maybe worms got on it when it was plucked from the ground. When they separated and moved around. Therefore, you always need to check the outside. The fruit lasted for more than 12 months, and so the doesn't have to be checked. You have to check them to cast away the worms which are among the fruit on the outside, while on top or on the fruit itself. And even after you toss the ones which are on the outside, we're afraid that when you put them in water inside the pot, they're going to go out. They're going to squiggle in the water, or the walls of the pot. On top of the fruit. Then we're going to cook after 12 months of fruit which has become wormy. You name which I guess are bereft of worms. Minukavim, and they are pierced. I guess there's nothing you can collect. No. That's not what he means. I'm claiming the wormy pieces and the worms which have holes, yalamala. Not sure what he means that. If I name then put them in a boiling pot. Yamusi mat has one will die immediately. Doesn't matter if you check the majority. Leave dok. I check all of them. Because it's a prevalent minority. Samaches. Why rely on this check even within 12 months? Mishum the osan shematlim mechuber, because those things become wormy when they're still connected to the ground. Ain't that going to lamala? They don't rise to the top of the water. Like those worms which generate when it is plucked from the ground. Furthermore, the mechuber the isur afilu lo pirshon last when it's connected around the prohibitions, even if the worm has not actually separated itself from its original place. Lo schin because we only rely on this test. Because maybe not all the buggy things will rise to the top. But when we talk about the prohibition of a worm which is there from the time it was already plucked. She'ena Isra Mishum Chashash Prisha, the only prohibition because he might have moved somewhere. So Chiyam B'dika, so rely on this test. So the Ran Beis Yosef. Raya Zeshrei B'dika She's Bara, you'll die Bechon man. And the evidence of this is that really one mode of checking should be enough. Oh, but sonim, or either cold water, shialu matulayim lamala, that the wormy ones will rise to the top, yashlichem, and you'll toss them, or baroschim, or in boiling water, shiamusam yat. Immediately, and then they just disintegrate or float away. And we shouldn't low real on ibdika, but since this test is not clear to us, therefore, if it's plucked in the ground, mechashosh is piresh, and therefore we have an issue with it, maybe it separates. These two tests. But not a worm which was already there when it was still connected to the ground. Maybe ask why do you need these two checks? It seems clear, like we wrote. That check, each check by itself is not to borrow, so you need it like double whammy. But those say the achir b'skosh ain't shum tikkun, you don't have to check at all. It's the name of my Mishnah. The time of the ein lonach you don't have to concern with worms and something which is disconnected from the ground. That you have to check. The time of bar, the reason is clear. Can't pay so dark unless liam since these fruit become wormy when they're connected to the ground. Alma to talas davuk b'hem b'tolo. So it must be the worm is intrinsic in them in the way they grow. So to be concerned that worms generated after was plucked from the ground, or the tree, whatever it came from. Simultest, one of the Rogs only wrote, so he wants to eat lentils, sharmi, akinos, other types of beans. Belishim pikbuk, without any doubt. I guess back then they didn't have pesticides. That's probably a large issue. Belishim pikbuk without any doubt, but chashash shalim without any concern for worms, lo b'dika without checking. You can name it because it's short of buying from the beginning of the year. When you came in my roast, put them in boiling water. Wait 6 months to the time you boil it. Any dead worm, which is more than 6 months old, has become dust. You're allowed to eat. So why should the problem? Because of the worm which grew in them when they were connected to the ground, have a offer ba'alma. Now, by now, it's offer of Yashar, it's permitted. What about the ones which grew when it was plucked from the ground? Since it's put in boiling hot water, that arrests the generation of worms. That's blown without checking. This is from the Pri Chodesh. Those who complain about the Pri Chodesh for two reasons. First, the Shema is that maybe that which a worm does not last for more than 6 months becomes dirt. That's when it already lived for 6 months. When you killed it the day it was born. It's being guarded. Furthermore, the that they wrote that after it's boiled doesn't become wormy again. The contrary, they get even more worms. His name is Yaakov. Is not going to work for us. Only follow the Tur and the Shulchan Aruch's suggestions in this regard.